Hey, Basket Brains, Kirby here, aka Darkwing Disc. And do you know why ducks have tails? It's to hide their butt quacks. Butt quacks. Alongside me, as always, is Ollie DePina. And did you know that Ollie was born without eyelids? Yeah, he was. They circumcised him and used the skin. The operation was successful, but he did come out a little cockeyed. Welcome to episode 81 of the KO Disc Golf Show. Episode 81 is the Magnemite episode. Famous players that wear 81. We got Randy Moss when he was just with the Patriots. We got Terrell Owens, and we got Dick Lane, which, from what I hear, was also Ollie's nickname in high school.
Night Train. That's it's. I'm done. I'm done.
For the Red Sox, we got Lou Lucier. I think that's how you say his name. Mariners have Danny Young, and Ollie hit us with the Giants.
The Giants, I gotta go with none. The only, maybe our greatest wide receiver of all time. I think there's many other talented wide receivers that have been injured, but Amari Toomer. Shout out to my go wide receiver, the greatest Giant to wear number 81. But also, little fun fact: Dick Lane, his nickname was Night Train Lane, and he was afraid of taking planes, and so he would train to game. He was like, "I'm not getting on a plane. I swear to God." So they called him Night Train Lane. He also is like the reason why face masks are a thing. Like that was before face masks were a thing. So like he would run up to a wide receiver, just grab their face mask and pull him down, and it was not a flag. It wasn't a penalty. So he was reason for a lot of penalties, but he was kind of unstoppable for his era. Night Train Lane. Watch some highlights. He's
That's it.
legit.
There. Okay, so everything you just said was awesome, but I think if people were to go back and listen to the first like half of that, it makes a pretty good rap. Everything you said rhymed to start that sentence. It was really Night Train Lane, him in the game. It was all like really. It was really really good. I was pretty. You're dropping some bars real quick there. I was impressed. That was nice. Um, all right, KO question of the week is going to be one of the sillier ones that we're going to do. Um, how early do you arrive at the airport when you're flying? How much time do you give yourself at the gate? All that business. So answer in the comments down below, and Ollie and I will answer at the end of the episode. Ollie, how you doing, bro? How's it going?
I've been good. It's been the last couple weeks since the birthday. It's been a lot. I just had a lot of events, so it's like day, and then kind of getting back into work has been it's been chill. Having a week off of work and then getting back into the routine is always a little better. These colder months, I'm trying to figure out a way and like what I'm gonna wear when I go biking and stuff because I want to go biking, but it's like I'm just like standing outside going to my car and like my puffy coat and that, and I'm like, I gotta get like I gotta. They do have like uh outfits for it.
Like thermals or something?
Yeah, and like people do it. Like even driving home, driving to work, I saw people biking where I'm like, I definitely can, but I need to find that. And I think I could use my tires, but I think the way I ride, I kind of am like a little bit like this when I go up hills because I'm just like, it's like certain style. It's like I like really like to move the bike instead of
Yeah,
like
you're
doing other
working.
things. Yeah, and I think with the tires I have, I just slip out basically if I went too hard. So I want to get a little grippier tires before I get riding. But I do want to do some riding some more. But it's besides that, it's been good. Just yeah, moving in and still moving in. Yeah, kind of slowly and surely. But we're starting to hang up some art pieces and do some other things, which is cool. And getting frames for little like posters and stuff. So I'm starting to get a little more roomy and personalized here. Yeah.
Nice. A little more homey and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I can see it's a little more kind of like filled in around you and all that. So it's cool to
Yeah.
kind of watch the progression week after week. So
These
nice.
chairs are my favorite thing. I'm in one of them, and there's a matching one there, and like, so you can see like this armrest goes higher. It's like
Hmm.
opposite of that one, so you can put them together, and it kind of makes like a mini couch. And they're
Okay.
on rollers, which is really nice. And so like we'll
Hmm.
watch stuff on this TV, which I have something on that we can't talk about. Don't want to get any.
We just
uh,
can't get demonetized,
we can't
really.
get demonetized basically, but watching the game that's still
Well,
going on. We're recording this on Monday night at it is currently 10:43 and the game is in the top of the 15th inning. So
I
this
guess
is
here's an
another
interesting Interesting question. Don't we have to be monetized in the first place to be demonetized?
I'm putting my camera up. We're watching the game, folks. We'll talk about that after. That's actually a great point.
You know what I'm saying? Like we like
What
we
are they
must
going to
have
take
said,
from us?
yeah. What are they gonna take? We don't get anything. Yeah, there's nothing to take. Like take it. You know, we'll just start another channel and be right back where we are.
uh,
Screw it. Yeah. Oh, hang on. I got a cat over here kind of messing around.
so it is Monday. It is late at night. We're recording this episode. The game is still going on, so if you ever see me turn back this episode, just know that. But Kirby, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I got this guy just kind of screaming in the background. I'm doing good. It's been a pretty chill week, just like a ton of lessons. We got Par for the Corpse coming up this weekend, which we'll talk more about later, but looking forward to that as well. Yeah, buddy, hi. Ellie and I went and did it's called like I don't know, it's like like a haunted walk. It's like the Fever like light show. Forget exactly the name of it, but it was pretty all right. You know, every year her and I go out and try to do like one or two, like holiday inspired like themed
Yeah,
things, and that was what we decided to do this year. So I don't know. We went on a pretty cruddy night. Like it was like super windy that night, and it was like kind of raining off and on, so that definitely deterred the experience a little bit. But um, it was pretty cool all in all. Um, yeah, just lots of lessons and really just like a lot of running around. So it's been pretty good all in all. Um, we're just gonna get right into the baseball check-in because you and I are both like checking the score anyways. So
yeah,
Yeah, like Dodgers Blue Jays is like going absolutely crazy. The fact that this is like one of the longest game in World Series history is wild.
yeah.
Um,
There's already been a couple, like Otani 7 on base, first player to ever have 7 on bases in a World Series game is like kind of mind blowing. It's just like this is a crazy game, yeah.
yeah, it's really, I mean, really, really cool. We were like watching it ahead of time, and we're like, oh, we're gonna jump on the show, and we're gonna jump on as soon as the game ends, and then we're like in the 14th. We're like, hey, we should just like start to do this. It's getting kind of late. Like
Yeah,
we gotta knock this out. But yeah, I mean, it's really cool that Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw are in the baseball game, like at like in the same baseball game. Really, really awesome. Um, and Yamamoto, dude, this week, I mean, like the last what 2 weeks, throwing two or back to back complete games, in the ALCS and then in the World Series, and he has the potential to go and do a a third game like that
yeah.
maybe
They're
in
they're
this
gonna need
series.
him. They're gonna need him
Yeah,
with how deep they're going into their pitching rotation. Like the Dodgers brought 9, and the Blue Jays brought 8. Where it's like you're using all of them, one,
yeah,
and then they're all getting maxed out basically in their pitches. Besides like a few that probably won't pitch that much anyway.
yeah. I mean, it's the middle of the 15th now. They're basically playing two baseball games.
Yeah,
I mean, this is it's pretty awesome, honestly.
I
The Red
I
Sox had this happen in like 20, I think it was 2018 maybe, or 20 no 2018 I think. We had Nathan Eovaldi come out of the bullpen and he pitched like
versus the
six
Dodgers.
innings. Yeah, versus the Dodgers. Yeah, it was either the Dodgers or the Cardinals. I'm blanking now. I forget which one it
18
was.
was the Dodgers
Was it? Then yeah, I think it was the Dodgers. Yeah, and every inning that he came back out of the dugout and he went back out and pitched, you're like, no freaking way, and then he would feel like, get the side out and then he'd come back out and you're like, unreal, unreal. And like, yeah, it was just such a cool experience.
It's just so funny to me that like, and then they keep showing that 2018 Red Sox and Muncy had a walk off home. I think he had a walk off in their 1 win because you guys won
Yeah,
4-1. Yeah, so
I think that was the only game that they won.
he has a walk off, and so they're like every time he's gone up to bat, they're like he could be the second person ever to have 2 walk offs. Did it in 2018. And they keep showing like a clip, and I'm like, the amount of times they've had to show this is so funny. Like with how
Yeah,
many they didn't prepare for this.
yeah, it's pretty. I mean, yeah, they got to be from. So, yeah, I mean, they definitely don't plan on going to 16 innings, 15 innings in a game. It's really Man, it's so cool to watch. It really is. I don't
Yeah,
even know
I
what to
also
say about
really
it
like
really.
Sasaki a lot. I think he's such a cool pitcher uh, for the Dodgers. I think he's a cool kid.
Yeah, the way they're utilizing him is really sweet. Now
Yeah,
out of the bullpen is awesome, but having it as the starter the whole year,
pitching, relieving, closing. He can like it's just so crazy.
yeah. And he's like a basically a rookie, like rookie contract, which is also just like
I know. I'm trying to trade for him in the show right now.
high value pick. Yeah. Um. All right, we're gonna get right into kind of like the meat of the episode. This is gonna be a relatively short episode this week, I'm sure. But this week, the big thing we want to talk about is kind of sponsorship talk, and essentially just like what is a sponsorship, and gonna help all of you get sponsored, or at least some advice on how to potentially get sponsored if that's what you're looking to do in disc golf. So. We'll kind of start with like what is a basic like the basic question is what is a sponsorship, um, and essentially, the way I look at a sponsorship is a company has faith that you're going to help promote, sell, whatever version of that they're looking for, but you're helping that company promote, sell their product, their brand,
Be a
whatever it might
reflection of
be.
them, no matter what. Yeah, basically. Yeah,
Totally.
like.
Yeah. And you represent them to a certain extent, but yeah, basically like you're representing them and wanting, putting your best foot forward and for them basically. Um, Different kinds of sponsorships, they might offer different benefits on different levels. Some sponsorships could be that high end sponsorship where you're getting paid cash, and that could be a one lump sum, that could be monthly, that could be weekly, whatever it might be, kind of thing. Those are very rare, especially in disc golf.
Hmm.
Um, and then some of your more basic sponsorships are, your sponsorships where you're just getting a discount to the website and something, and maybe like a code that helps you develop points where you get other rewards and stuff like
Hmm.
that, and that kind of thing. And that might be kind of on the lower end. Um, I would say none of these sponsorships are necessarily bad, kind of depending on who you are, the company, what you're looking for. If there's a company that you're really passionate about representing and a company that you really enjoy already throwing, and they want to offer you or they offer you a really base level contract and it makes sense for you as a player and all that, like do it. That's awesome. But if you're a MPO player or like a high end like a high like end player, and you have a really big social media following and somebody offers you a baseline contract, that's something that you should reevaluate and,
Hmm.
make a decision on. You don't have to accept every contract that's being offered to you, and you don't have to, take everything that and you don't have to take anything that's offered ever. So you always have the ability to say no and kind of walk away from any deal that doesn't feel right or is suited well for you and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I
some
feel like
things,
that happens a little bit too often where I mean, even myself, like from my own experience, like when I first started getting into disc golf, I was like, oh, I want to be sponsored. It's like that just the word sponsor. I think it gets misconstrued. Like it's like, yeah, it's like you get to represent a company, but like what does that mean entirely for you, for that, and in that sense? And I remember I applied to a couple different brands just being like, I want to get sponsored. And then while doing that, I met some people locally, and that's how I found AGL and naturally kind of grew within that community first, and which was really big for that. But I think, yeah, just finding something that aligns with you is so important because I was able to find something that aligned with me and something I was already liking and already throwing and already behind. So I think I feel like it's not as important as I think it's misconstrued, like what being sponsored means. Yeah, in that sense.
yeah, totally. I mean, I do really feel like being sponsored should be taken seriously and almost as a job in a way,
Hmm.
and it's disc golf, so it's fun, and we're just talking about like frisbees and all that. But
Yeah.
you are signing a contract to commit to doing the things that are in that contract, whether it be social media posts or
Tournaments, so a
yeah,
year. Yeah.
all that stuff, and the sponsors guaranteeing that they're going to give you X, Y, and Z, is assuming that you're going to also do X, Y, and Z, and that could be all the way down to like just like tagging sponsors and stuff, and you know
Yeah.
what I mean, and going through like hashtags and stuff like that that they want you to.
Yeah, and
So
I feel like I've had the position of being in sponsorship for the pro team, which I'm on now, and last year to being on the lowest level of AGL and being on the ambassador team and just like, but just being, I think just it didn't really matter to me where I was exactly on that, just knowing that even before I was on the team, I was part of the AGL community. You know, like I was making posts on Facebook and stuff like that, and part of those things. So I think there's so much more you can be on a team and be a supporter. I think that is so important first to a sponsorship necessarily, unless a sponsor just like you have a really good connection or a sponsor like sees you and sees like something in that where they really have that. But I these people that run these companies are also people too, like there's only X amount of people that they have working with them to go review these people where like what you put out to them in these applications is so important, because that's literally all they know. If they don't know you, that's all they have to know from you. So um, I think that's really hard at the same time where I applied and I didn't get on a team, and I think it was like, oh, if they just knew me, if I met them, it's like I would be on this team, I'd be on some level of it. So I think there's certain things with that where these people are also human that review these, and it's hard, it's like, it's not a diss necessarily if you don't get on a team right away or whatever like that is.
yeah, I think that's such a good point that there's like you have to just think of what the disc golf is just like in general, like it's like where the game is. Like there's not hundreds of employees working at these factories and stuff like that. Like there's a couple of them, and that person that you're emailing probably wears several different hats in that factory and does a couple of different things and is also on Instagram and Facebook and looking at things. So kind of
Hmm.
put yourself in their position of what you're going through hundreds of applications and tons of emails, and this is only maybe one quarter of your job this month,
Exactly.
or one part of that, right? So
And
like
this is a
what?
hobby of yours, and then you got to go do your 9 to 5, and then you got to go
Sure.
do you gotta go deal with your fam. It's like these
Yeah, and
people. It's so tough for them. Where
yeah,
it's just so hard to be that person that gets denied and be. But like I was in these Facebook groups, just liking these groups, and I got denied. And I'm like, I'm not gonna stop posting. I'm not gonna stop throwing them. It was never like
sure.
that. I think it just kind of lit a fire under my butt. Be like, oh, I could post probably a couple more videos. I could probably make a couple more comments, or ask a couple more questions. And I think after doing that, one of the captains hit me up, and I was just sitting in one of the lives, and he was like, "Are you on the team?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, okay, we got to change that." So it's stuff like that.
Hmm.
Just show up, show yourself as a representation of like you actually. It's not just like I'm in it for the title sponsorship. I'm in it because I want to be here.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was you did exactly the thing that I wanted to point out is you stood out from the crowd and you did it in your way. There's so many emails and applications coming in. You got to find a way to make yourself stand out amongst the rest of the people who are also. You got to think there's going to be so many people that are whatever your rating is. There's a lot of people that are rated that, if not higher. That are
Exactly.
also applying. So why are you different or better than the other people that are the same rating as you or a little higher rated? What are you doing? Um, that was really, I don't know if anybody saw the little like kind
I
of turtle
did.
squirrel. Yeah, that was
There's
really
been some
awesome.
really cute moments so far.
What do you? Oh, all right, come on. What do you? All right. We're gonna figure this out. Hang on. Yeah. What do you? All right. I don't know if he actually wants to get down or not. That's fine. He's
Looks like
just
he's
taking.
here. He's here for the talk.
Yeah, he's just taking over the show today. That's fine. Um, so one of the I want to talk about some of the stuff that you should look for when applying for sponsorships. And to Ollie's point of all of that, he found that he really liked AGL's plastic. He liked the people involved with AGL, so he honed in on a brand that this is the brand that he wants to be part of, and did everything he could to stand out to them and be part of that brand, which is such a huge thing to do. It's so great. Um, I think things that you should look for, like I just said, brands that you like to throw. Look for brands that respect who you are as a player and a person, and not just put you down as like a number on a page,
Hmm.
basically. That's one of the things that I really credit AGL a lot for. Is that AGL really like cares about all their players, and honestly, I felt that way with Discmania too. Like like I don't know, like I went through my text message today looking at when I talked to Avery last year about rejoining Team
Yeah.
Discmania and that kind of thing, and it's just crazy that I can like go through my text messages with this like world champion, and I'm going through them, and when I looked at my like worlds from last year, like he shot me like a "Hey Kirby, good luck at Worlds," and he sent me like a few other like encouraging messages and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So um him being the team captain definitely feels like he kind of cares about us as players, which is vital, and it does make having that sponsorship feel like that much more important, because it's not just you being part of this like machine necessarily. It's like you are a person, and you are kind of part of this like
Hmm.
family and this kind of organization in a way.
Yeah, it made me so happy when you were like, "Oh, I'm going and stopping by AGL's warehouse," and and like he's like, and you mentioned me, and they're like, "Oh, Ollie," and I'm like, "Oh, they." I was like, I know I'm in their Facebooks and I send the lives and I know I do that stuff, but I'm like, just for them to reckon, I'm like, it's a little thing, but it goes a long way. It's so much like to attest to what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was actually a really sweet trip. They were awesome down there at AGL for sure. um so some other stuff to look out for. Look for benefits that make sense to you. I mentioned this a little bit already, but if um you're set on discs and you don't need plastic and that's all they're offering you, it's up to you. Like, and it's a brand that maybe you don't throw already. Like if the things like kind of don't make sense, you don't have to take that sponsorship. Changing up your bag, completely isn't always worth it. And that kind of thing. Not to like call out brands or anything like that, but you look at like what was happening with Lone Star a few years ago,
Yeah, I
and
was
and
just
some
gonna
of those.
say, I was just gonna say from personal experience, like, and this goes back to me talking with Brian and coming on Box Squad and that sponsorship, and I remember it was like one of the things that made me want because I got denied from Brian. I think I got denied again from Brian, and then the thing that made me want to hit him up again was like I got accepted into the like Lone Star Ranger team or whatever they were doing, and I was like, would this affect me being on Box Squad if that was a thing? And he was like, let's talk soon, kind of thing. So, um, yeah, and to go back to that Lone Star, that contract was them. You basically had to spend, I was doing the math, like if I wanted to switch out the amount of discs that I was throwing, like similar to a Lone Star 90% equivalent, 90% equivalent is what they had, it would have been $250 to like how many 25 discs, and I did the math with everything, used my code, and I was
Mhm.
like,
And
oh,
that's without backups. That's out without like a serious stack of putters to do putting practice and stuff like that. That's just to replace what you're throwing before you start losing stuff because you're experimenting with new discs and stuff like that. Which I agree, that's not great for you because you're not a Lone Star
I
like
never
player at
thrown
all.
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
never
now
even
let's
thrown Lone
say
Star. Yeah.
theoretically, like before that, you threw
A ton
fifty
of Lone
percent of
Star.
your half of your bag was Lone Star. Maybe that deal does make sense to you, and that's where
Just
that
to
kind of
push it that
thing
much more. Yeah.
for sure, but going into it like totally fresh and totally empty, like my before I say anything, my priority this offseason is re-signing with Discmania. I love being on the team. They've been awesome to me. If it doesn't work out again, it is what it is. But my priority is re-signing with them. I'd have reached out to a couple other companies just to kind of see what the market looks like and have chatted with the company. And this company, to be totally honest, I don't know. It's a company that I really respect and I like what they're doing, but I didn't know if I was as invested or as interested as maybe I have been in other companies. They reached back out saying like, "Hey, we like what you're doing. We'd love to talk more." So I asked a couple of very basic questions. It was like, "Hey, what do you guys have planned for the next year?" I said that I have my attention turned towards playing in more pro tour events. Is there anything you guys can do to help like offset the cash of that kind of stuff? And I asked like one other question, and He gave me a couple of answers about it, and it's one of those things where I don't think it's necessarily going to work out, but it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to
Yeah.
have those conversations and kind of see, because maybe he does come back and say, like, yeah, like, we'll give you anything you want. We love you as a player. We love what you're doing. Probably not, but you never know. And you kind of have to kind of put those things out there. So, um, this is the perfect time of year to be sending out applications and stuff like that. Too often, I hear of people like in January and February seeing people make sponsorship announcements and then say, "Hey, how do I get sponsored?" And it's like, "Oh, all this was taken care of months ago." Most companies are going to have everybody signed up for July. January 1st is basically like the start of all the
Mm-hmm.
contracts. Most of the time, you're signed somewhere between like November 20th and like December 20th, essentially, is like when contracts are usually just kind of distributed and signed for most players. There's going to be exceptions always and that kind of thing, but um, this is definitely the time of year where if you haven't sent out contract or you haven't sent out applications already, start doing it now. What do those applications look like? So some companies have applications online, and they'll have forms that you'll fill out. I know Discraft has their underground team that they can fill out. I've been told that Discmania has an application you can go on their website and fill out now, which is cool. Um, Other brands, like Innova, like MVP, and that kind of thing, you might not find an application. Go ahead and shoot
An
somebody
email.
in the company an email. Yeah, find the captain or something like that. Find the representative of something,
It's
and
their job to go through the emails and like to
yeah.
respond to you 100%. Yep.
Totally. So go through, write yourself like a pretty professional email that has your, quote unquote disc golf resume that maybe has like what you're doing for the community. Your skill set is just as important as all the other stuff that you're doing, but your social media and stuff like that's really what's going to draw a lot of attention to you. Um, so wow, bottom of the 16th, dude, they're still going. Jeez Louise, that's crazy. Sorry, I had to check in on the game real quick. That's wild. Um, so, um, yeah, so write yourself a disc golf resume. Go and tell them, like, show them like who you are. Show them that your social media accounts, and
Yep.
ideally, you've been consistent on social media the whole
Yep.
year. Whether you have a ton of followers or not, consistency is key, and that's going to just go so far. Um, One of the things I mean, I was talking with Jojo Nybar the other day,
Yeah.
and Nybauer, I think, and I was like, dude, I know you're 15, and I know you don't want to be looked at as a kid, but also like if you can pitch yourself as a youth to these companies, I was like, that's gonna go really
The
far
best that you
for
can
like,
do. Yeah.
yeah, so like if you're a kid who's kind of on the verge of I'm kind of an adult, in those teen years. Like, don't be afraid to pitch it to the disc golf companies that you're a youth. You'll get in the program, you'll get in the system, and then once you're there, it's really easy to jump up teams. The more that they see
Yeah.
you and the more eyes that they have on you. But you have your chance with kind of being like, hey, I'm young, passionate, excited, consistent. I love disc golf, and this brand can be the brand that I have on my back as I grow. As a into whatever I'm going to be as a professional disc golfer and as a disc golfer in the future. So, um, yeah, use your youth if you have the available to do that kind of thing. Show your personality. Um, and like I said, just like be the person that you would want to sponsor. Like if you were running the company and you were in charge of sponsoring players, be the person and do the things that you would want to be. You know what I mean? If you're running the company, like who do you want to put your faith in? Who do you want to pay to represent your brand? That's the person that you're going to try to be, and that's a person that the company's essentially looking for.
Think about it, yeah, like employment. Like you're not gonna want to do something in front of your boss. Like your representation. You are an extension of that company once you sign that contract in a way. So like what you do on the course and off the course does reflect. It won't be the end all be all to that company, which is the truth, but it does show a reflection to the people around you and leaves it either a taste in their mouth, good or bad, of what you've done for that company. Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, most importantly. Ollie kind of touched on this earlier, but yeah, being sponsored is not the end all be all in disc golf. Like being sponsored doesn't make you a better disc golfer or anything. It doesn't. It really shouldn't like. It doesn't change anything really, other than the fact that maybe you can't throw X, Y, and Z disc that you used to throw, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Maybe you just throw some different from new molds and that kind of thing. But it's not like, I mean, there's no like gang mentality about it. It's not like because you're now sponsored by Discraft, you can't talk to your friend who's sponsored by Innova or anything like that. So, being sponsored is not the end all be all. And yes, if you don't get sponsored, it's fine. That being said, we are really going to start sending out contracts for Team ECD. Ollie, I'm going to need you to come by the shop sometime soon, and we'll kind of do contract stuff.
Cool.
If you are interested in potentially being on Team Emerald City Discs, reach out to me. Say what's up. Come by the shop. Say hi. Make yourself
Yeah.
known. Do all the things that we just talked about. Come on by. Join our tournament. Sign up. We got Par for the Corpse coming up this weekend. So come on by and say what's up. Um. All right. No. Okay. Time for the tournament recap presented by Emerald City Discs. Emerald City Discs, the gem of the Pacific Northwest. No tournament recap this week. That was an easy one.
Hmm.
We didn't do anything last week, so um, time for the tournament look ahead presented by Swamp Cow Kava Bar. Swamp Cow Kava Bar, love me that muddy water. Did something just happen?
No.
End of the 16th.
Oh,
Jesus, crazy. Um,
to a ball.
so
There's been multiple balls in the warning track.
yeah, a lot of out there, a lot of base runners, which has been kind of wild. So, all right, tournament look ahead. Um, Tournament look ahead. This is next week. We got Par for the Corpse happening on Saturday. This is going to be a 20-hole ace race style layout out at South Fork Landing. Um, you can go on to the disc golf scene page and look at the hole distances. They are all very, very short. The longest hole is hole 12, and it's like 260 feet or something like that. So very easy, very ace run course. And then they're also happening this weekend is the Woodland Creek Classic. That's happening down at Woodland Park in the Olympia area. And then I also just did the SeaTac Ace Race layout as well. You can go on the disc golf scene page and kind of look at that.
Ooh.
I think the longest hole there is also in like the 260 or 270 foot range. So um, that one was really fun to look at. It was cool to look at SeaTac and kind of think like, what's the kind of the best way that people could ace every hole on this course,
Yeah.
and what's a really fun looking location for them. A lot of the par fours ended up kind of just being at the spot that you would ideally throw the best drive to. So that was actually kind of fun to go on to like, was it like 21 with like the dip in the middle and the tree up there, to kind of like walk up to the tree and then walk like 50 feet past the tree, and you're like perfect. Like that's exactly where,
Mm.
like in a perfect situation, I would just throw a drive here, and
Land
now we
there.
have
Yeah.
this 200-foot upshot, or whatever it might be, to the basket. So
Where's 17 at?
17 is like way up the fairway and over to the left. It's kind of
Oh,
like a
I like
straight,
that.
it's like a straight shot like into the green, and kind of like
Where
high, like
you
you gotta
really
like
want a
hyzer past a
hyzer.
tree.
I
Yeah, and if
like
you don't
that.
hyzer in time, you're gonna hit the divot and kind of ricochet right. So I mean, it's like, I think that one's like 170 feet or something like that, or like 190 feet. It's like really, really short, but just like technical as all get out. So should be
Hmm.
really, really good. All right, weather look ahead presented by AGL Discs.
Together we can reduce, reuse, and recycle for a greener future for disc golfers.
So sweet, so smooth. All right, we got a ton of rain coming in. It looks like Thursday is going to actually be a pretty nice day, all things considered. North Bend is actually going to be like really nice out there. I think it's going to be like downright cloudy on Thursday, which is cool, or downright almost sunny. And then I think it looks like Sunday it's also going to get a little mild as well, but we should expect pretty much rain all day on Saturday. So that's really tight. I didn't mention it during the tournament look ahead, but on Saturday, if you are playing, please stick around afterwards. We're doing a bunch of games. I'm hiding mini pumpkins on the course that are going to have a number on them. Those are going to be correlated to a prize. We're going to do donut on a string, which is where I'm going to tie powdered donuts to a string and hang them from the tent. And you have to eat the whole donut without using your hands. It's a whole lot of fun. And then we're also going to do an egg toss where you'll have to find a partner, and then we're going to have people toss eggs
Yep.
back and forth, and last team standing will win the prize. Should be a ton of fun, though. Really, really good time. All right, answer the KO question of the week. Ollie, how early do you get to the airport when you're flying?
It very much varies whether it very much varies. The last time I got to the airport, I get there like around an hour before boarding. Yeah.
An
But like
hour.
I try to be there a little earlier depending. I used to have like really bad anxiety flying, so I used to be like I just need to be there. But now I'm like I can as long as I can see my gate and I can see like where I'm going, I can like make out in the TV. I'm like, okay, we can go get food now. I used to be like, we got to go to the gate. I need to look at the gate door and then we can
Mhm.
go.
So
But
how early, like when you're, let's say you have like let's say you have an 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. flight. How early are you arriving to the airport to get through security and all that?
my last flight was at 8:20 and I got there around 7 or like 6:50. Yeah. But I
Sure.
meant to be there. I had my spot saver or like through TSA at 5 a.m. and I was like, but I went out to like two clubs the night before and was like, yeah, I'm not waking.
Yeah, I'm
Me and
not
Roxy
making
woke
that.
we woke up and we're like zombies getting ready.
Mhm.
We also didn't pack that much. It was for this Denver trip, so it was like trying to pack while like the most hungover we've like ever been.
Um, I'm a psycho with when it comes to flying. Like what you just said makes me so nervous. I get like if I'm flying out at 8 a.m., I'm showing up to the airport. I'm getting there at like 5:45 in the morning. I am terrified I'm gonna miss my flight. I'm terrified that like something horrible is gonna happen during security and I'm never gonna make it through or something, or it's gonna be the busiest day of all time and everything's going to go wrong and I'm never going to make it through on time. Um, I'm hella paranoid with that kind
I
of
feel
stuff, dude.
that.
It's,
I
it's
am
crazy.
also.
Yeah.
I'm literally like standing in the line, just like shaking, and Roxy's like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, I feel that, and it used to be way
Yeah.
worse, but now I'm like, I have a lot more of a. You can do what you can do, man. You know,
Yeah.
it's like what are you gonna do? Barge through TSA?
Yeah. So I'm at the point now where like I almost just make excuses. I'm like, no, 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 no. I like hanging out at the gate for 2 hours. No, 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 no. Like I like going to the airport and spending $15 on a drink before my flight while I just sit around and wait. Like, which
There's something
honestly,
about
like
the airplane beer or
air
the airport beer.
airport drinks and then airplane drinks always hit really hard. One of my favorite stories. I was flying home from college. I went to college in Rhode Island and I was flying to Buffalo. It's like a 3 hour flight, 3.5 hour. It's like we're like up and down. It's like nothing. And it's really early in the morning, and this flight attendant comes over and she's like, "Hey, can I get you a drink or anything?" And I go, "I'll take a Jack and Coke." And she looks at me dead in the face and goes, "It's 7 a.m." And I go, "Vodka orange juice?" And she just kind of goes, "Okay," and walks away. And I was like, "All right, here we go. This is a good morning."
Usually,
So
if I'm on the
yeah,
airplane, it's for vacation, and if I'm on vacation, I probably will have a drink.
sure, dude. Yeah, the airplane cocktail hits real hard. It's real nice. All right, time for the draft this week. The draft that we're doing is video game weapons, our favorite video game weapons from pretty much like any video game, any genre. And I mean, a relatively loose interpretation, but it generally has to be a weapon. I would say like general powers don't count. Like Superman's like
Yeah.
laser vision, I wouldn't necessarily count as a weapon. I would say that's more
No.
just like a power, right? So. Um, Ollie, take the first pick, man. What you got?
Giving me the first pick.
Go for it. I have no idea where either of our drafts are going to go right now.
I
So
think I'm gonna go with the Master Sword from Legend of Zelda. I think that's just like a video game classic, all-time
yeah,
weapon. You know, it might not even be the most powerful, but at the same time, most aura.
yeah. No, I mean it had to be a top. It had to be a top two, maybe top three pick. Easy. It was
Yeah,
on my list, really high up on my list.
that's what I was kind of going
Um,
for. I'm feeling out now with what I can get away with from you.
no, that was a really, really good one. I would say one of my favorite ones that I had on my list is the blue shell from Mario Kart. It's
Oh,
it's one of the ultimate weapons. Automatically takes out first place. So blue shell, easy one. It was like it was one A with Master Sword with me. So those two going top two. It feels really appropriate.
Blue Shell's good.
And then for my number three pick, or for the number three pick and my number two pick here, um, I'm gonna go with the Keyblade from Kingdom of Hearts. I wasn't a big Kingdom of Hearts player myself, but I do recognize how awesome that was as a weapon. It's like the heart key is pretty sweet. So, yeah, Keyblade.
I get two now in a row.
Yep.
All right, then we're gonna go with from Call of Duty Zombies. Gotta give me the ray gun. The
Yeah.
ray gun is again like it's a all-time kind of weapon.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with the ray gun. And I think next, oh, I don't want to go wrong. That's the thing. I think I'm gonna go with. I might just go with a lightsaber.
Yo, that's a legit like huge pull.
A lightsaber is I was looking even like when I was pulling up the Master Sword, I was like, a lightsaber kind of goes even harder. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna
Um,
go with lightsaber with this one.
that's like probably a top tier pick. So
Yeah.
really, really, really good. Um, Okay, this one I believe is the weapon and is not a power necessarily, but I think there's a little room for conversation there.
Okay.
Uh, the Green Lantern Power Ring.
No, it's on my list. You're good.
Okay, yeah, Green
Yeah.
Lantern Power Ring. Those that don't know, like I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. I actually have Green Lantern and Sinestro both tattooed on my legs. Um, So both of those are going to be on there, and then the last one for me, and I have a bunch of honorable mentions, but the last one for me is going to be um, the Power Rangers Power Morpher. Basically what gives the Power Rangers their powers and the ability to morph into Rangers. I do believe that's a weapon because they're allowed to like kind of like you can give a morpher to another Ranger and they can become that Ranger. So does that count or no?
I'll give it.
Okay, so Power Morpher. And if I had to be specific with it, I would say the Power Rangers Zeo Power Morpher because for those that know and those that don't know, the Zeo crystals basically have unlimited power. They just continually grow power over time. So basically, the longer you hold on to the Zeo crystal, the stronger and stronger it gets. So Power Rangers Zeo Power Crystal Morpher, yeah.
I like that. I like that. I think in my honorable mentions, there's so many. I have like the gun from Portal. I think is
Well, okay,
amazing.
hang
Huh.
on. I need to make a note here. The Power Rangers Zeo Power Morpher, it's not a video game weapon.
That's also true.
So I just kind of found us. I'm gonna take that out because I don't believe that that's real. The Green Lantern Power Ring, that is like a. I guess that's also not a weapon technically.
No, that is. I'll give it that one. And there's
What
a video
video
game
game?
for it. There's a video
Okay,
game. There's a
all
video game.
right, all right. But for my last pick, then I'm gonna go with the BFG 9000 from Doom from like the 1993 version. Pretty freaking awesome. If you ever like kind of hacked your way into getting that, and I'm sure Justin Banks has definitely gotten the BFG 9000. Yeah, it's pretty effing sweet. So BFG 9000 from Doom.
I have the portal gun, honorable mention. The holy hand grenade from Worms. Any Worms enjoyers? I have the superstar from Mario. I
Oh
have
yeah,
the needler from Halo. But my pick is going to be the Halo energy sword.
oh yeah. That was on my list.
Oh, also, Diamond Pickaxe. It wasn't on my list originally. Just saw it in a photo. I like Diamond Pickaxe a lot. I think that's kind of fire.
That's on my list. I had that. I had the Buster Sword, Power Suit from Metroid, King Dedede's hammer, and then this one's okay. This one's maybe a little inappropriate. So if you have children, maybe cover their ears. But in Grand Theft Auto, I think it was either five or Vice City, one of the two of those. If you just like disregarded the story and you just kind of went and caused mayhem, eventually you'd get caught by the cops and arrested. But if you didn't know and you when you got out of the police station, if you just like turned around and went back into the police station, you could find a bunch of weapons and stuff like that. And the funniest of all those weapons is if you went in the shower, you'd find a giant purple dildo that you could use as a weapon, and you could just walk around and just start beating people in Grand Theft Auto Vice City with a giant purple dildo. So that was kind of one of my honorable, like, silly mentions.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really, really, really silly. Those Grand Theft Auto games were sick back in the day. They were really funny.
I did not know that was a thing. In Saints Row, they paid homage to it. Saints Row 3, they had a weapon similar to that called the Penetrator. Episode 81. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Not even a short one. 46 minutes and 23 seconds, as I say. But thank you again. I'm a winner. I play to win. I want to make good things go on around me. David Ortiz, Big Poppy, aim high, shoot low. We'll see you next week. Peace.